This was a project that I had sent Katha, which is part of the Katha Chitrakala, and it was one of my stories which are done on cloth. And I have a big thing with fabrics. I like Indian textiles and and I like working with the waste. So this book started with where I started making another book which was on cloth, and but since it worked only in Hindi and their audience was Hindi English, so they sent me this. They sent me the poem and asked me if I'd like to illustrate this. So that's how it got started, and yeah. I've done fashion, so I've always had this thing for fabrics, and I've always been working with fabrics, but not particularly books. And and even in the other books that I've done, I tend to use a lot of scrap and things that are lying around. So that's how this poem was sent to me by them, and they wanted each verse illustrated, and I would say that I've done a little translation of each of the lines here. So what I do is what I did for this book, which is kind of different from what I'm doing for the next one, is that I drew each of these. I mean, there was a specific brief saying that this is the number of pages we are looking at, and one spread, and one will have a line, etc. So they did give me a clear brief on how the book would look like, and then so I started drawing on paper, and that's how I started, and then cutting up little bits of cloth, and these are all like little scraps that I've put together, and then first putting it on paper and then sewing it together and then doing the embroideries. I would say that towards the end, when I had the deadline, they also extended my deadline. Towards the end, I was working almost 18 hours the last 1 month, and through the month, I mean, there were no breaks. So but I would say somewhere I look at it as like a year. A year is what I look at it, because there were lots of times when I wasn't really working on the book, but I still was doing the book. So I work with my hands. I'm a traditional artist, so I paint, and I've done another book with Katha where I've used pizza boxes. You wouldn't even know that there is a pizza box somewhere there. So I use different mediums. I enjoy working with different mediums, but I mostly paint.